Hey, before I start this video, this incident happened in Metro Atlanta where I'm at today, and I want to show you a clip of the news story.
Next tonight, the urgent manhunt for a driver caught on camera in a horrifying hit and run. Tonight, the 9-year-old victim is lucky to be alive and recovering in the hospital. NBC's Miguel Almaguer has the latest, and I want to warn you, the images are disturbing.
In the Atlanta suburbs, Ladariana Holmes was playing with a friend on her front lawn when a speeding car blew a stop sign, jumped a curb, and slammed into the 9-year-old, catapulting the child into her own home. A surveillance camera captures the passenger door swinging open, someone running away, Ladariana's mother rushing outside. Amid the chaos, Ladariana's 12-year-old brother began performing CPR, her father then rushing her to the hospital.
I couldn't watch me on the ground, so I picked him off the ground and just took off.
Suffering a fractured skull and pelvis, incredibly, the 9-year-old is expected to make a full recovery.
It's a blessing she's still here.
So, Ladariana's family has started a GoFundMe page, obviously, because the hospital bills are going to be outrageous, I'm sure, with a fractured skull and pelvis. I don't know if they have insurance or not, but either which way, they started a goal of $30,000, which in hospital terms is a drop in the bucket. So in one day, they've gotten $23,000, which is great. I have a son, and if my son had been hit by a car at 9 years old like that, you know, yeah. So anyway, the point being is I don't make money off my YouTube channel, but I do get donations from Patreon, and I get donations on my PayPal account. In fact, somebody sent me $50 just today to do a consultation, and I'm going to donate my $50 to this cause. It's much better served getting this 9-year-old girl back into health and not having, you know, she's just minding her own business, playing in her front yard. And these are just one of these life things that happen, and I just feel like if you could donate, I'm going to put a link down at the bottom in the description to the GoFundMe page, and if you could do anything for her rather than do for me, then I would much appreciate it. And yeah, that link will be in the description. Be sure to donate, even if it's $1 or $5 or whatever you can afford, to the cause. If any of you have kids, you'll understand why I'm doing this. And since this is a master bathroom, this is going to be, there's going to be a design thing, what I call a waterfall accent. The waterfall accent will have a 12 by 12 going all the way up to the ceiling. What happened here, I ran out of red guard, so by the time I got to my second coat, so I happen to have some Aqua Defense. Aqua Defense is made by Mapai, and it goes on aqua and it turns green, which means that I have a green and red waterproof shower. So you can clearly see, this is a second coat if it were red guard, so you can clearly see that it's definitely doing its job. Well, my lines here were what they used to be lines, you can still see them, are 10.5 inches. That's my center line, and then from here to here is 10.5 inches. So I have already pre-cut pieces of Durarock, and these are 10.5 inches. So once my tile is on the floor, I will actually put trowel thin set out. There you go, see, 10.5 inches. I will trowel thin set out on this wall in the back of this Durarock, this 1/4 inch Durarock, and I will glue that to the wall all the way up. And then eventually my Mosaic will go on that. Once the glue has dried, and glue meaning thin set, then I will Aqua Defense, not red guard. I will Aqua Defense this whole area, the sides and the face and all that stuff, so that has a good waterproofing on it also. As a rule, this tile here is always thicker than your Mosaic, and even if it's the same size, even if you measure it out and it's the exact same size thickness wise, this gets bumped out. This has a lot of thin set on it and on your wall, whereas your Mosaic doesn't. So there's always a discrepancy in thickness. And if you put this straight to the wall, and then try to do your mosaic without a bump out, then you would be in trouble because your mosaic would not match the edges of the tile if you get it flat to the wall. And then what some people do is try and build up their thin set on a mosaic, which is definitely not a good idea, because eventually you're going to get a float, a rubber float, and you're going to push it to the wall as much as possible. The wall being this now instead of that. And that's how to properly put on a mosaic, integrating them into your field tile. So after you have glued your backer, and I say glue, spread out your thin set on that marked out area that I showed you. Spread it out all the way up to the line. Spread a very thin layer onto your backer board and let it set up for, I don't know, about 20-30 minutes. You know, don't get it too stiff, but enough that when you put it on there, it sticks really well. Don't mix it too runny. Now it's dried probably 3 or 4 hours, so it's stiff enough. Oh, by the way, so I had a couple of shims down at the bottom. I don't want my backer board touching my shower floor, and even though there's going to be tile on top of it and it's going to be grouted at the bottom, it's probably up off the floor by about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little better than that, about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. And the backer board, and behind this backer board there is that gap that I always put there, and that's about a 1/2 inch gap. So what I did is I cut off a piece of tile, the field tile that I'm going to use here, and I made it 10.5 long by 1/2 inch, and then I stuck it in the back there so that I have something for the bottom of my backer board to rest up against. And so another little hint. Yeah, so I waterproofed it. I waterproofed both sides, all the way up, almost to the top. I didn't do it at the top. Water will never get up there. I'm not concerned too much about the very tip top. But I have a good coat of waterproofer. I might put a second coat on if I have time. And you do not want to drip any of this stuff, onto your tile floor. So you're going to put some cardboard or some type of protection down there so that doesn't happen. And as you can see, it is now floating off of the floor area, although the tile eventually will touch the floor with just a small gap there. I don't know if you can see the piece of tile that I stuck inside there. So that's basically it. I'm going to let this dry up. Everything matches. You have the darker matching this darker color, you have the lighter matching the lighter, and then you have the added advantage of these little aluminum pieces. So I think it'll look sharp. That's just my opinion. Everybody asks me what I think all the time, and I rarely give my opinion, but on here I think it'll look sharp, and it would also be more of a waterfall look than this would be. With these Mosaic, some of them are built better than others, meaning that the mesh, the fiberglass mesh backing, sometimes is kind of crappy, actually. So sometimes pieces will fall off. I have experienced with this before on backsplashes. It's a pretty stable mesh backing, so I don't really have an issue cutting it outside of the package. But just a little word to the wise, you can actually cut through the package. In this case, I'm going to cut right along here so I have a straight edge of my Mosaic going up inside of the wall of the niche. I don't want to have to do all these little fill-in pieces, so the easiest thing is just cut all these off. And you can do it straight through the package, so you have a straight line guaranteed. And obviously there's a straight line there. Yeah, it doesn't cut fingers. So now I have these little fill-in pieces I can use later if I need to, but I have a complete straight edge going on. So I just unwrap it now. We have this little waterfall Mosaic, a different one going on all the way to the ceiling, and that looks kind of sharp to me. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, then subscribe hit that button and subscribe. I make nothing off of YouTube, so please be a Patreon member. I'm going to post a link down below to my Patreon account, and you can donate $1, $5, $10, $20 a month. Just pledge that on a monthly basis. That will help me produce more videos and content so that you can watch and learn from my channel. And donate at least $50 if you're going to call. If you're going to call for advice, donate to my PayPal, please. Donate first, and then feel free to call me or email me for advice. Otherwise, business calls only, please.